Okay, for math skills 2 students, the most fundamental skill you must develop is how to solve linear equations, equations with variable like x to the first power, such as this equation. So now the goal of solving any equation is to get the variable down all by itself, isolated, and then finally you can say the variable equal to uh, usually a number, and if that number will make the equation true, then that is the correct solution. So now let's see how can we solve this. As you see, the variable x on the left is fine, but now we really don't want the 2 here, because if the 2 is on the other side, then we can say x equals to a certain number. Now, to get rid of plus 2, we'll have to add the opposite. What's the opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. So if you were to minus 2 on the left, of course you always have to do the same on the right to keep the balance. A plus 2 and a minus 2, they are additive inverses. So they add up to 0, which will not affect the x, so you wouldn't have to just keep the x by itself. And of course 5 minus 2 is 3, and so the answer is x equals 3. And what happened is, if you were to replace x with 3 in the original equation, which was x plus 2 equals 5, and you replace the x with 3, and we see that 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. And so therefore, you found the correct solution. Now, let's do a little something more. Well, another example. Okay. And this way we can be a little bit more confident. We get the point. All right. So now let's say we have x minus 10, all right, equals 12. Again, this minus 10 is not in the right place, so the opposite of minus 10 is plus 10. So we can do it up here, or often we do it down here. Since we're going to add it together, it's much easier to add vertically than horizontally. So anyway, minus 10 plus 10 is 0. So x is left alone. X is going to equal to 22. And so x equals 22. And if you replace x with 22 here, all right, 22, original equation with 22 minus x minus 10 equals 12. Is that true? Yes. So we found that x equals 22 is the correct solution. Okay, now let's do a little bit more complicated. Let's say you have something like 2x minus 5 equals 7. Okay, so again, this minus 5 is not in the right place. The number should be on the right. So I'm going to add 5, which is the opposite, on both sides. And this will add out, becomes 0. You have x equals 12. Now, this is not the final solution because we really don't want 2 in front of the x. We like to have 1, which is the same as x. So that should be the final solution. So what are we going to do? Well, if 2x equals 12, if you divide it by 2, both sides, then 2x divided by 2, 2 cancels, then you're going to get 1x, or x, and x equals 6. All right, so replacing 6 into the original equation, you're going to have 2 times 6 minus 5 equals 7. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 5 equals 7. And that's correct. So let us now try something else. Something that, okay, a little skill that you can pick up. Let's say you have 1/3 x plus 2 equals 4. Now, again, we will subtract 2 both sides, and we will wind up with 1/3 x equals 2. Now, how do we get this to become x by itself, or 1x? All right. Now, as you remember, a fraction such as 1/3, if it's multiplied by its reciprocal, a reciprocal fraction, you just flip the fraction, and there goes the reciprocal. And you multiply this on both sides. And by the associative property, you can actually multiply this 2 first and get a 1. Reciprocal, by definition, are two numbers, fractions, rational numbers. When they multiply each other, they give you 1. So therefore now we have x equals 6 over 1, or 6. And if you replace x with 6, you see that 1/3 of 6 is 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And sure enough, x equals 6 is the answer.